Still waters run deep. Big up to my Sirius B1s and Sirius B2 point of origins. Star seeds, I guess. I'm still I don't know now. And I might be asked about this, but when it comes to star seeds, how do we break it on down now? Because the majority of us are just star seeds, period. Um, some of us have a point of origin where it's not coming from a star, it's coming from a planet. But I guess for people from Sirius B, the two different DNA groups that I was able to be privy to, they would definitely, I guess, be star seeds as they're coming out of a star frequency. It's amazing what is in each star, including the one that we revolve around in our star system. It's so many different dimensions. A long time ago, decades ago, when I was a little wee little girl, I remember on the parquet wood floor, I saw I thought it was like a puddle of something. It looked light blue, and it was like something moving in it, and I was just like, "What is this?" And I go over to it. My mom is, in the kitchen or something, and I'm on my own. I must have been like 4, and I went over to that spot that I spotted, and it was an actual dimension or portal opening. It was this blue sky, and it was these people waving and smiling at me. And they looked like, what's that singer, that funk band? Look, it was the 70s, of course. Like I said, it was a long time ago. I'm a 70s baby. So they had like this funkadelic kind of, George Clinton, like, just kind of, if I'm saying it right, George Clinton, I could be talking about the president and stuff. I don't know. I'm dyslexic, y'all. I look and they're waving. They have like all this like, 70s performance garb, free love type of hippie stuff. And I'll never forget that moment, because I saw them clearly. Decades later, fast forward, they're like, "Oh, that's from your star system in the sun." I'm like, "So there's a whole universe inside this star?" And precisely is what the angels told me. So everything is very interdimensional. Everything, including Earth, has multiple frequencies because existence is not what we have been taught, to put it plainly. Okay, generally speaking. The components of existence is incredibly simple and incredibly complex at the same time. Chaos, harmony, physicality, or matter, and antimatter. You're going to have all these polarities. When it comes to Sirius B1, okay, this is like an amazing vibe I'm getting. Like, it makes me emotional, actually, to tell you the truth, and I was not expecting this. It could be because of this incredible singer from Africa named Libyanka, if I'm saying that properly. Please pardon me if I'm not. But as you could see, amazing. I'm afraid to play this song, but I just want you guys to take a good look at her features, right? When you play her song, it's called People. I love it because this song really embodies the people of Sirius B completely. I would love to play it, but I do not have permission. I know it's free use because I can just explain, like, the content of the song is what Sirius B1 and Sirius B2, but Sirius B1, one of the amazing traits is, if you're a castaway, Sirius B1 folks, they'll take care of you. If you have been casted away, and in this spiritual warfare, there's been a lot of good, amazing people who have been ostracized, casted away, exiled through abuse of power, all types of power, being abused in all types of way, have really harmed people who are here to serve humanity. I wouldn't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the universe presents you with somebody from Sirius B one to look out for you. Okay, to be a guiding light for you. Sometimes it's not about looking out financially. It'll be looking out as far as like if you need somebody wise to lean on. And it's written, especially when you go into like Egypt and just the Middle East, there is a connection, especially in Africa, period, okay, to Sirius B. There's a lot of homage paid, a lot of respect paid to Sirius B. Um, there's this one book, I think it has 2 volumes, and it's written by a gentleman named Drunvalo Melchizedek. If I'm saying that right, I might have butchered the out of that name. Um, but he is aware of the beings of Sirius B and how they have assisted. The way he breaks it down in those 2 volumes, those 2 books are very, very valuable tools to have in your arsenal for sure. Very, very good to have in your book collection. But he talks about how Sirius B and their technology and their very paternal energy they have over Earth and the humans here, that, I think they put like a protective hologram or opened up a protective frequency of sorts, to protect us from solar blasts that would consume Earth. Perhaps it already has. And so we're in an opposite frequency, a different frequency. So we got to big up Sirius B for what they have been able to do. And Earth's history is awesome because they're not the only extraterrestrials that have been protective about Earth, because Earth is way more important than we understood as far as the entire existence, as far as if the existence needed to fold, if creation needed to fold and say, I no longer wanted to exist, there's a point where it would fold in, collapse in, create a black hole, I guess. And you know where that point is, y'all? You guessed it. It's Earth. Forget about regular cataclysms. Because a cataclysm, you just come back refreshed after, the Earth said, get the fuck off me. Isn't that what cataclysm is? Get the fuck off. Get the fuck out. But this wouldn't be that. This would be way worse. So when it comes to Sirius B1s and Sirius B2s, I'm like really grateful. I'm pretty sure there's beings that are in the human experience from Sirius B, but as well as beings outside of that in their original form. Are they humanoid? I don't think so. I don't think so. According to the Dogon tribe in Mali, they are amphibious. Anybody speak dyslexia? Y'all speak dyslexia? So y'all understand what I'm talking about. So they are aquatic. I'm hearing aquatic. They're very aquatic. Sirius B1 is completely connected to the whale totem or medicine. Most of the star point of origins or planetary point of origins are connected to an animal that is indigenous to Earth or brought to Earth and evolved within the Earth ecosystems. But when it comes to Lyra constellation, the elephant is the totem. Ganesha, very, very connected to the people of Lyra. I can't wait to get into all the points of origin, right? But for Sirius B1, they are directly connected to the Akashic record, which is the medicine, the totem of the whale. That is the Akashic records. And the whale, and for anybody, doesn't matter your point of origin, if the whale happens to be your totem, what I'm about to read from my oracle cards is going to very much feel like still waters running deep. Like there's times where the 21 or the major arcana card is crucial for the Sirius B1s to go outward and present. But because they can be in a situation where it's very grandiose. They definitely need to be in times where they can go deep down into the depths, be around their own folk, their own kin, or just be alone and quiet. It is absolutely necessary. How do you expect to tap in if it's all rowdy, rowdy, and all these voices and stuff going all around? You're not tapping in. It's very difficult. But when it's meditation, silence, and solace, hermit time, you can recharge, which is necessary. Um, get your third eye right. If there's any serious B1s who are suffering from an ailment, something physical that throws off their spiritual, their mental, their instincts, their intuition, you know what I'm saying? Like accident prone, just like any other point of origin. Accident prone, just not in the right trajectory. So it's important for Sirius B1s to have a time of quiet and reflection, time to plan, time to hear your own voice, your own inner voice. Tap in is very powerful. Another thing is voice, sound. You think about the whale, the sound frequencies, including as well as the dolphin. Sound, music, but also generally speaking throughout all the points of origin. Whatever origin you're in, there's a certain tone of voice that you will have. Like Martin Lawrence is a lyran. If you sit him and Ludacris, who's also a lyran, sit them down and talk and listen, you'll hear it. There's a certain octave or sound that comes straight up from the lyrans. If you put a couple of Aldeburnians to the side and have them talk, you can hear that difference. When you hear the people from Sirius B1 talk, you can hear there's a certain tone that's really amazing. Go straight to the heart chakra. So the heart, like when I hear Libyanka sing, my heart is like, wow. When I hear Biggie, my heart is like, wow. Like there's an enthusiastic energy. There's a healing unlike any other kind of healing. Iodine can give you healing. Um, Peroxide can bring a certain kind of healing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain types of healing. The healing that comes from Sirius B1, the performer Chipmunk from West, no, he's not from Western, but I'm showing my age, y'all. What's that young man? His name is Chipmunk. He has his own thing, but he was performing with that group Western, which I really enjoy their music. And I study their points of origin. I like to look at the performing artists in particular because of people who are celebrities are celebrated in the public, because their whole life and what they are doing is right there presented for me. I can't learn that much from people who are, if everybody was like quiet, I wouldn't be able to understand and know what it is that was provided for me to know. So through celebrities, I'm able to find out a lot of information that applies to that point of origin, whether you are in the public eye or not. So they hear Biggie's voice, they hear Libyanka's voice, they hear Chipmunk, and even actors that are of this point of origin. And I'm listening, I'm like, wow, you can hear this. There's a certain tone, and it goes straight to my heart chakra. There's something to heal. So people from this point of origin, if they choose to use their throat chakra for public speaking, for singing, for rapping, you know what I mean? It's something about the tone itself that's going to be also impactful. Okay, so let me pull up the website real quick, y'all. And so I can give a more bird's eye view. And if you listen to that song from Libyanka, it's called People. One thing she says in the hook, did you check on me? See, I've been drinking more alcohol, right? This is where I want to tear up and cry. Big up to Libyanka, okay? Big up. What an awesome song. And that song really is like the representative for Series B right now, Series B1 and Series B2 that are directly connected to the Dolphin Medicine or Totem, Susan L. Taylor, Bon Jovi, Tyrese, Sarah Jessica Parker, big up. I bet you if you're around any of them, you might be like, I don't know, they might be stuck up as celebrities. Well, if you're an asshole, they might be like, get out of here, beat it. But if you're friendly and cool, you know what I'm saying? If you're down to earth, if you're not intrusive, just because somebody's a celebrity doesn't mean you run up on them and bombard them. They're a human being, please, you know? Well, they're in the human experience. And they have feelings, okay? So if you was chilling with Tyrese and you wasn't judgmental and shit like that, and he a Capricorn like me, he'll be able to chat with you and kick it and stuff. And listen to that voice. That voice with the dolphin totem connected. Tyrese's voice is like a nice hot chocolate with some whipped cream and stuff. Okay, just nice and soothing and nourishing, great comfort. So let me pull up the website, right? And we're going to take a look at in bulk. Okay. So when you go on to Tanya Holly, the Brooklyn Medium, or Tanya the Brooklyn Medium, pretty much, you click on to our work, and click on here, and right here. By the way, this is a prelude. We're going to talk about where DMX is from, and then eventually we'll talk about how DMX is right now. Okay. Ooh, spiritual burp. Big up DMX. Big up. Sitting at the round table, the intergalactic, interdimensional Ark of the Covenant. Awesome. But in Rigel, where he's from, if anybody is a Star Wars fan watching this, and I'm thinking you probably are if you're drawn to something like this, right? The planet Tatooine, if I'm saying it right, would be Rigel in the Orion star system. It actually does exist. Now, does it exist inside of Rigel? That's what I'm thinking. Still got to learn. I still got lots to learn about this. This is just the beginning, y'all. So it's Tatooine, and if you think about Tatooine, it's like, you know, it's where everybody kind of goes. This is like a go-to planet. There's a lot of different species there. So I found maybe about 3 and like 5 possibles. Like 3 confirmed DNA signature groups out of that point of origin. But for right now, I just have DMX representing it. But right now, we are talking about Sirius B1. That's Chipmunk, y'all. Who don't know? People in my age group might be like, "Who that boy Chipmunk?" Okay, so like, get people in my generation. But as you can see, from Sirius B, and you just saw Libyanka, right? Wait, let's click on. Can we click back on to Libyanka? Hold on one second, y'all. Click right on back on her. I'm gonna have to pull up a whole lot of stuff. All right, let me just leave it as is. This is Libyanka right here. You could just get a profile picture and then a smaller picture there. Yes, see, Biggie. Okay. So really quickly, I'm gonna go. Let's go under. When you go to, check out the website just so you can get more information. But the contribution to Earth, right? It'll read like this. In the Dogon tribe located in West Africa, they call the beings of Sirius B1 and Sirius B2 the Pneumo, which means water. Aquatic DNA, Sirius B1 is connected to the whale totem, which is the Akashic records. Visualization. Now, these are the traits. What they bring to the table, what Sirius B1 brings to the table. I just want to hug y'all, okay? Because who takes care of the caretakers? Who gives them the hug? They're giving people hugs, right? Don't they need a hug? They need a hug. They need to be replenished. They're well run dry. What happened? They need to be replenished and nurtured just like any other DNA group. Visualization, singing, creative arts, and see the singing portion, right? But the creative arts, entertainers for sure, um, forgiveness, humbleness, kindness, balancing the chakra system success. So the best way to balance out those chakras, because each chakra has to be balanced and healthy. The health issues that are attributed to each chakra, it ain't a game. You don't toy with your health. So physically, if you have a broken heart, the physicality of a dis-ease settling in that chakra area, what's attributed to that chakra, the heart attacks, um, high blood pressure perhaps, asthma, bronchitis, bronchial issues, stuff like that. So singing helps that. Whoa, I just felt that singing. But balancing the entire chakra system. Well, when you're performing and you're at that peak energy, your star tetrahedron, your Merkaba, the Star of David around you, where your chakra points are so healthy and so high vibrational, they're no longer a prime meridian going from your root chakra at the base up to your crown. Each chakra is extended out to a certain point of each of the star tetrahedron. Your bottom chakras, your root chakra, sacral, that's for the earthly tetrahedron that you kind of like step into, like you're stepping into a big old bag, right? But it's not a bag, it's a pyramid, upside down, pointed downward. Then you have our spiritual tetrahedron for the upper chakras, like the third eye and the crown, and that is placed over you. And then those two tetrahedrons interlock, and then they start spinning together, yo. They start oscillating, yo. That shit is I feel like that's happening to me right now because I feel good. I'm in my North Node. Hey, I love what I do. It feels good, and I'm here to share that. And I'm targeted for this. Come on, we all are, right? Ain't nothing new under the sun. Come and bring some information like this if you want, and see if the current status quo that's eroding out, that casted you away, or tried. Everybody's on the comeback, right? Or has arrived from that castaway exile shit that people were pulling. 2018 was bad with it. Like 2000, by the time we got to 2018, enough was enough. And the kingdom of heaven began its descent to the planet, from Zion to the planet. Yeah, you better believe that shit. They said the prophecy, when the need is great, Yeshua will have the throne and he'll return. Father, not son anymore. Father. So 2018, shit got real. Okay? And it was preparation for how much more realer it was going to get. This spiritual war is turned all the way up, isn't it? A lot of shenanigans of epic proportions, global proportion shenanigans is what I'm actually referring to. They said be clear. There's basic shenanigans every day. There's Murphy's Law. There's all kinds of nonsense. People turning against you. People being approached and bribed to do things to you. It's very hard to approach a Sirius B1. They got to be a rogue one. No, not everybody's perfect. They got to be a rogue Sirius B1 to be approachable to do some foul shit. Something must have gone wrong. But let things go right for them. Let them receive the healing that they need. Let them be put on their right track. And their natural abilities, their natural inclination to care for others will shine through. But they have to care for themselves too. So it says balancing the entire chakra system success, And I already told you one way to get that chakra system popping. Be in your North Node. Be in your purpose. No matter what. Suppose I was really tired and stuff like that. Well, when you're tired or ill and stuff like that and you need to rest, then that's what you do. But sometimes it's projected on you. People are stealing your energy, whatever. Get on with it and share with others. I feel energized now. Okay? It's 11:06 a.m. You know how much has happened since I've been up at 5:30 a.m.? A lot has been accomplished. Okay? It's just what it is. When you're doing what you love, right? You're gonna figure it out. But if I don't have the right energy, like if I'm not enthusiastic, if I'm not excited about this, if I'm that drained, it's time to sit down and replenish and self-care. Okay. It says happiness and transmuting the temper brings reward and restraint. Let's say that again. So the contribution to earth, again, visualization. I really shouldn't have just zipped on by that, because if you visualize, if you see it, you can have it. Sky's the limit, right, big? Visualization, singing, creative arts, forgiveness, humbleness, kindness, balancing the entire chakra system's success. Happiness is also the contribution here. That's really nice. But y'all deserve to be happy too, Series B1s. Okay? Transmuting the temper. I know how this is. My point of origin, we are a spitfire. We got a little temper about ourselves. But if we are focusing on constructive endeavors, that same energy that can be coming out of the root and sacral chakras, the third chakra, you know what I'm saying? If you are, in a good space, or know how to bring yourself back to a good space, like, oh, I'm out of it today. I'm not doing too good today. And then you're like, okay, so what do I need to do to be on point so I don't spaz? You know what I'm saying? Somebody's starting with you in the street. I'm an OG, so now I just transmute it, because if not, I'm going to have to take out my weaponry. You understand? And then what kind of day am I have after that? How does that impact my family? So transmuting the temper is important. Taking that same energy, that passion, and putting it into creative endeavors, putting it into having a structure, have a schedule, have a structure to your life. You know what I'm saying? Without a structure, without a skeleton, you just have flesh and a clump. So having a structure in your life is important. Being flexible is important too, but having structure in your life is important. Reward and restraint. Just keep that in mind. Reward and restraints. Okay. The next thing is breaking generational curses. That's awesome. Anybody could be in that position to do so. They can put themselves in that position to do so. But this is a major contribution of Sirius B1 to bring that aspect into the human existence. Breaking generational curses. You know how much tremendous power? Call on the whale totem. The power of the whale totem is incredible. It's your Akashic records. Oh my God, it feels wonderful to talk about this. It's your Akashic records. You have done it all. You have been emperor, empress. You have been queen, king. You have been poor. You have been unhappy. You've been happy. You have made major impacts on the planet in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. Okay, we're in Judgment Day, so depending on your heart at the mind scale will determine if you're going to, get retribution for anything foul you did when you had certain kind of power position in your previous lifetimes. I heard lifestyle. Joe Coy, that comedian, check him out. He's amazing. If I'm not mistaken, is he? Why do I think he might be, I think he's Series B1. I have to reconfirm that. But I like what he did with Netflix when nobody wanted to take a chance on him. He put all his monies together and put on a show. Now he's a major stand-up comedian with sellout shows. Okay? Amazing and hilarious and funny. And Biggie says big up to Joe Coy. Because he definitely, gave love to Biggie, which is always appreciative, right? We're always appreciative when people show us some love. The next thing, breaking generational curses. Yeah, with Joe Coy, I like that. Joe Coy is the one, is one to recognize, because when he brought his son out on the stage, I felt a sense of pride and celebration for your offspring to see what you are capable of when you don't give up. And when people cast you away and you're like, whatever, but you can cast me away, god damn it, but this is what I'm going to do. And your son or your daughter gets to see you do something, you know, so spectacular, so monumental that it'll reverberate all over the planet or even off world, and definitely in your own bloodline. It's a beautiful heritage, a beautiful legacy to have. Okay, so breaking generational curses. The next one is avoid cult, quote unquote, cult memberships. Moving right along, because I think we're all tired of talking about Freemason this and an Eastern Star bomba clot that and thing. Okay, because I know there's good Freemason and I know there's good Eastern Star on both sides of the veil. But you got those who really need their ass toe up. That's what I'm hearing. Woo! They're doomed, is what I heard. The wrath of God all up and through the wazoo. Doomed. So if I was y'all, if you're very interested in going into some type of fraternal, some type of sorority, make sure that chapter is clean. If the chapter is dirty, don't go in there taking no oath that's going to put your ass in the grave. Piss me off. Let me get this Luden's cough drop right here because I feel like I'm about to cough. Of course, nobody want me to talk, right? Anyway. So we got connection to benevolent and kind gray extraterrestrials. Yes, they do exist. Yes, they are in human form. Will I show you this? I don't know. So got to be very careful on this planet because people know how to act stupid. So if I was to reveal the humans who are off, in their point of origin, they were originally gray aliens, and you'd be like, oh, that explains the size of their head, or that explains why your body's shaped this way, or oh, I can't fuck with you because you're gray. If you thought there's already racism with the earthly races. Can you imagine with the intergalactic, interdimensional race factor revealed, and people just this low vibrational foolishness going on? Oh, you're a gray child? I can't. No, I come across a benevolent gray, and their hearts are so sweet. They're really good parents too. It's very interesting. I see them. I'm like, wow. It's amazing to see that. It's amazing to see what you would think would be like very scary if you saw them in their original point of origin, and then they in the human form looking stunning and just calm and smooth and quiet and chill and just good vibes in the human experience. So there's certain points of origin I'm not revealing anytime soon. It says high honor. So there's a lot of high spiritual ranking Sirius B1s and 2s, I'm sure of it, because of their purpose just in existence, period. Their technologies, their wisdom, that's the Akashic record, and the dolphin is the meditation and how you retrieve what you need out of the Akashic records. Okay, so you got meditation, dolphin, Akashic records, whale. Of course, there's a high honor energy. And those who have fell from the high honor, if they are given a chance, they probably failed because of a great deal of hardship. So when given a chance, the healing process can be grueling, and then back on board, full throttle. They are a force to be reckoned with. Okay? It says Series B 1s and 2s have been considered to have a parental impact on the human experience. This is where definitely that book from Drunvalo, D as in David, Drunvalo or Drunvalo Melchizedek. If you Google him, he has a 2-volume book combo that has some amazing data, and he talks about Sirius B, period. He doesn't phrase it as a point of origin and stuff like that, but from his vantage point, and anybody who has any information about Sirius B 1 and 2, you feel free to tell me, because there's nothing new under the sun, really. Generally speaking, it might be some more new information to embellish on it, but there's plenty of cultures, Native American, indigenous cultures, that don't have the cacophony of the civilized world. They just have, them stars to look at because they don't got street lights. You know what I'm saying? They can tell you about Lyra. They can tell you, okay? The Choctaw Nation can tell you about Lyra. Okay? The Cherokee can tell you some shit about the stars. Okay? So I would love to sit down, on a reservation and get some knowledge. Sop it up with a biscuit. Okay? Sit down and listen and record. It would be amazing. Eventually, y'all, that would be what I would love to do. Safely travel to people who have this information, this data, and share and learn. So it says Sirius B1 is here for the humans that have been casted away for one reason or the other to find their way to a safe harbor. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. How much time I read in? Let me put on my reading glasses, y'all. Put on my reading glasses. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this card from the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle, which I really enjoyed. I had put it to rest for a while, but as of recent, it's come out for some reason. Am I smoking anything? Had to take a break on that, but I don't have no problems having some lovely ganja, okay? And that works I'm picking up ganja. And when it comes to Sirius B1, that makes sense. Roll it up. Edibles, perhaps too, if you're dealing with chest, bronchial, heart chakra issues, okay? Be careful with the smoke, all right? Take care of yourselves. Green calcite crystal is very nice to have. It helps with healing and it helps bring in the finances. But as you can see, alchemy. Very much alchemy. It doesn't have to be that they're in the actual chemistry place but they can put some things together, and it's always going to be about choices. Which means, as an alchemist, there is a journey. If you're into that book, The Alchemist, which is an awesome book, another key or crucial tool to have in your arsenal. The Alchemist, perfect example of what just the protagonist, or the main character, I should say. I don't think there was any antagonist too tough of significance, but the main key character learned the balance that would bring happiness in life, and in the meantime went on a journey that brought out the best in him, okay, and was able to learn more about who he was. But he needed somebody to come in and guide and assist, somebody wise, to really help hone in what he's capable of. Just going out on a leap of faith and journeying is incredible. And there had to be choices that he had to make. Then he, earned that energy of a true alchemist to cross his path and show him something else. But it would take a couple of volatile moments. Of course it would. For that kind of power. The kind of power that the Sirius B1s, this is what I'm picking up and learning right now in real time. Just like in The Alchemist, when it was time to turn lead into gold, that's not a easy thing to do, but they did it. I heard CERN, CERN, just did that. I heard that, I don't know. I'll check into it. CERN be doing all types of shit over there. Anyway, I just heard and saw and felt something just now when it comes to CERN, tampering and tinkering and carrying on. Y'all better be real particular over there in CERN. You will get a first class ticket to the VIP of hell if you ain't correct and respectful in what you are doing over there. What is it, in Switzerland? You better act right over there. Okay? So, I done lost my thought, child. Because CERN has been cutting up. So we're talking about, okay, so the alchemy. CERN over there with that alchemy. No, okay. Anyway, so when they're traveling through the Sahara, because they're heading towards the pyramids of Giza, they come across like a guerrilla warfare. And the alchemist said, if this young man, the key character, could make it rain right now in the Sahara Desert, will you let us pass without incident? They're like, Sahara Desert, yeah, I like to see it. And the kid, the young man was just like, what are you talking about? I can't do that shit. He was like, get up on that sand dune over there and just go ahead and do that shit. So he was just like, and the alchemist is like, you don't got no choice. Get on the sand dune and make it rain. So he climbs up on the sand dune, and obviously the alchemist is helping him. But even though the alchemist is assisting in making it rain and actually does make it rain, is boosting the confidence, and it made him believe, the key character believe it. So you could feel that after a while it was in tandem, because he believed it. The mind, well, the consciousness, not the mind. I need to stop with that, because we're evolving back to a space where we don't need the mind anymore. The mind is attributed to mortality. With the mind, we don't have a long lifespan. You know what I'm saying? Like Methuselah and his mans and them before him, they was living to 900 years and shit like that. There wasn't no mind. The mind was coming in because the world was getting populated. The mind evolved its ass in. The mind is terrible, because it can easily be arrogant, pompous, controlled, cursed, controlled by some nasty, practitioner fucking with your mind. And they can even fuck with your consciousness, but your consciousness is your immortality. That's what you use. You have absolutely more control, okay? More authority, more autonomy over you when you're using either the consciousness of your physical or the consciousness of your spirit. They work together beautifully. But the mind gets in there, and then the consciousness of the body fights with the mind, and the mind is like, I'm the boss, and the body is just like, how are you the boss when this is my territory? Earth is my territory. 3D is my territory. You new to the game. I've been here before you. You call me the fool, and I'm supposed to call you the master? Get the fuck out of here. Then the higher self comes in like, hey, what's that fighting? And the ancestors is like, let me usher the mind away and give them something to do over to the side over yonder. And let y'all just kick it. And the mind, the spirit and the body, they're like, hey, it's a nice dance, it's a nice vibe, it's a great synergy. And the body's just like, so where can I take you? And the spirit is like, if you take us here, there, and there, it will be harmonious. We're done with the wear and tear. We're done with, just the ills of mortality. And the body's just like, well, since I'm so prone to the ills of mortality, I'm down with that. I see you got my back. And the spirit is like, and I see you got mine. Let's do this. Beautiful. You put that damn mind in the mix, it just fucks shit up, and this fighting and shit. The spirit is like, stop fighting, y'all. The mind and the body says, it's what I want, it's what I want, it's what I want, it's what I want. Y'all see where I'm going with that, right? Okay. So his mind was like, or his consciousness, maybe it was his consciousness that took over. It was just like, I'm really doing this. And so since he believed it, he was participating in making it rain. Okay? Then he left. This is the time where he part ways with the alchemist. The alchemist is like, you ready now? You Bruce Leroy in The Last Dragon, you ready. He's like, all right. So he goes over to the pyramid because he had a premonition to go to the pyramid. So he finally gets there. He's now a true alchemist with other experiences. He went from being a sheep and goat herder to now a glass blower, an alchemist. He's educated, he's traveled, he's worldly. He's cut the umbilical cord from where he was originally raised and stuck in a caste system. Caste and castaway, interesting. So he gets to the pyramids and gets mugged, beaten, 5 of wands. They stole the little gold that he had that was derived out of the lead, the process of creating gold out of lead. They robbed him, they beat him. He's laying there. He wakes up. He comes to. And he's like, wow. Because while he was knocked the fuck out, he got the rest of the premonition that showed him where the goal, the whole point of following this premonition in the first place was so important that he went ahead and followed it, and thank God he did, but he didn't have the whole premonition, just part of it, and thank God. He had to go all the way to the pyramid, get his ass whooped, and get everything, be blessed and grow and go through, so much maturation. Then to go back to where he came from, not bound by a caste system at all. If you can make it rain in the Sahara Desert, what the fuck is a caste system going to do to you? It will do nothing. You can move any way you want. Your Merkaba, your star tetrahedron, your star David is popping. Okay? Like Leonardo da Vinci, because he was Leonardo da Vinci, the caste system that would have swallowed him up and shitted him out, and you never would have heard of him, it couldn't, because he's Leonardo da Vinci. His Merkaba was popping. Okay? So, what I'm seeing here is silent retreat. She kind of reminds me of that picture of the Libyan guy I just showed y'all, right? Silent retreat. And you can see a stethoscope, I believe. Yeah, there's a heavy thing around the heart, the lungs. I want y'all to be very careful because deep breathing is crucial for Sirius B1. Deep breathing. It says it's okay. Now see, I go into the career card. So it's the career and life oracle and the metaphysical cannabis oracle. So it says it's okay to look for better work, but be discreet when you are looking for better work. Be very, very mindful and very discreet in how you're doing so, okay? It says you also need to be aligned with your life purpose to be fully satisfied. And that's for anybody, right? Ooh, spiritual burp. Spiritual burp. Of course it's going to be a spiritual burp. We're in age of Aquarius-Capricorn. You better be, even if where you're earning, it doesn't bring you full satisfaction, the earnings can be poured into what can. Okay? Well, manifest it. Reminds me of the singer Jordana, if I'm saying that right. I will tear her name up. It says, great diviner, Orunmila, if you are aware of Orunmila or an Orisha in the Voodoo religion, very nice. Yes, I know him. Very, very nice. I like where he's seated. The Orishas do have a place in the Ark of the Covenant. A big time situation. Big people ting with the Orishas there's so many pantheons sitting at that round table. Is awesome. Yeah, remember how 2016, how many people left? People were passing away left, right, and center. Weren't they doing it? A great many of them went to Zion, began the healing process, and they're in that Ark of the Covenant. They're part of it. Okay? And Orunmila is really great. He's a great divinator. I might do some reads where I'm just going to channel him and use a certain type of oracle that I use when I work with him. I just have to set up the camera a certain way because I'll have to be seated a certain way. So eventually, hopefully we can get to that. But Orunmila is a really sweet guy. I mean, we call him an Orisha, but I see him as, just family. And he's a really nice person, really nice being, I should say. Very humble, very kind. But not to be used. You don't just be all up in his face, Orunmila, this, that, and the third. Like, nah, is there actual fellowship? Okay? You don't take me lightly. Be respectful. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. And what I'm saying about that is that's Sirius B1 people too. Don't take me lightly. I'm cool and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I'm psychic. I can help you figure out and divine, whether you use an oracle or just your wisdom. But respect me. Don't come to me just begging or just looking for something. Okay? Come to me with sincerity. And the two cards that came out with that is divination is very, very good for being psychic. Like, okay, so Biggie already determining 9/11, right? Blow up like the World Trade. You feel me? Like there's a psychic level there that is very, very crucial. You know how I like how I have these cards like this? Because, you know, right between the cards, you could see her, strength, avatar, tapped in, here to protect and serve. Okay, so it says success. Success comes with divination, renewal, a need to take time to recharge. So if you are in divination or you are in just a situation that you are assisting people, if your employment or your entrepreneurship is in servicing the people, even if it's in the food industry, you're going to end up giving them some type of like spiritual confirmation or divination. You're going to be on point with what they needed to hear. Anyway, just generally, you get to talking with people and you might say something that they're like, man, that's the confirmation I was looking for. But you need renewal, working in the public, being in the public eye in any way, shape, or form. It says you need to take time to recharge your energy and get back on track. Challenges ahead require you to have faith and breakthrough, to have faith and breakthrough. So walking with faith, breakthrough, but there's a success in being a great diviner or just being psychic, being your psychic self. Stable. You see the paternal energy right there? It's very emperor energy, not distorted emperor energy, which is what the earth was dealing with up until 2012. It was a distorted emperor energy. Now it's the return of the empress energy. But from 2012 and the next 3,600 years long, that's how long this current cycle that we're only 12 years in now. It's like breaking a bone to reset it, and then after that, it's full empress mode. But how the mathematics of that, 3,600 years from now, is the master manifester. So it's not just the empress, it's a master manifesting energy. And you need both polarities, the emperor and the empress, for master manifestation. So to just have a distorted emperor energy, that's all Earth has ever known. That's the reason why there was cataclysms that took down whole continents. So now, as of 2012, why there's so much prophecy, even the Mayans and the calendar count, the Baktuns and Aktuns and stuff, it's going to talk about the end of time or the end of the world as we know it. And people will be like, oh, here we go with that. So what is it now? Because we're still here. I'm sitting up here having a slice of pizza talking to you. So how is it the end of the world? It's the end of the world and the beginning of the continuum. I'd rather have a continuum than a planet. Because if you look at the major arcana, sorry for the noise in the background, the major arcana from the magician or architect, level 1, the beginning of a cycle, right? But how is it a cycle if it's linear, if it's just a straight line? From magician to the world. But you have to have a primer to bend it. The fool energy, right? And that gives it a cyclical energy. That's why in the book of Revelations, talking about right now, what we're feeling in the air in practical terms and as well as very grandiose terms, spiritual terms, it is now the continuum where time and space scrolls up. So it's no longer linear because we keep crashing. 2012 was supposed to be a crash, but we're not going to do that because it was the end of crashing, the end of the systems having to reboot. For those who know, you know, a system that needed to be rebooted. That's cataclysm. Click, clack, you shut down the circuit breakers. Blah, blah. Woo! Get the fuck out. That's what the cataclysms were saying. We're not having that. We only have that if you're stuck and you're not having a continuum. And we were only stuck because we were in a vibration on this planet of 4, but not a regular 4, a distorted 4. Distorted level 4, the distorted emperor, which both male and female anatomy was caught up in that. Now that we're in a 5 energy, Earth is never, as far back as I've counted, I've never, when I went back in the time machine in my living room, and I went back cycle for cycle, 3,600 year cycles, just kept going back and getting the mathematics. And I'm like, where's the 5? And I can visually see, like, I mean, the dinosaurs and shit. I'm like, I don't see a 5 cycle, no way. But 2012 is a 5 cycle. That's pure potential, y'all. That's limbo. That's either hell on earth or heaven on earth. It's called the continuum. No longer is it just simply earth. It's an energy. It's a continuum. We don't want to crash. Now, there's heaven on earth and there's hell on earth, unlike any way. Dante's Inferno is here and the kingdom of heaven is here. So that heir apparent 5th level, that 5 energy of pure potential, you have to be sovereign over yourself. And anybody who's trying to control you will exit themselves out. Anybody trying to rule and control and micromanage and do some type of harm to you, they are on their way out. So there is still a cataclysmic frequency here. This is not not everybody got to go because of assholes. These assholes over here, it's going to cause the whole planet to go. Nah, you can get out. That's called balance. The return of the Empress energy is Judgment Day from 2012 and the next 3,600 years long. Judgment Day Empress energy. And then after that, it'll be Master Manifestor. But that's going to take 3,600 years to correct. That's barely a drop in the pot, in the bucket, for all the damage of the distorted Emperor energy, where the disrespect towards the feminine energy. Let me calm down, because everything is in divine order. It was required. But it could piss me off when I really give it some thought. When I get primordial with it and understand that without that time, a very long time, of having distorted masculine Emperor energy, we wouldn't be able to have, by the time the Empress energy is reintroduced, we wouldn't be able to have the continuum to be able to live forever. We would have ceased to exist. So we had to have the fuckery of distorted Emperor energy. We had to, in order to be able to live forever, to exist forever, I should say. So stability, they stabilize. All levels of stabilizing. All like from small to, from stopping a planet from having a cataclysm, from major sun flares, that's the stabilization, to stabilizing life, stabilizing a situation. As small as like moving plans, you're moving from here to there. You need to stabilize the plans because there's an indecisiveness. You don't have everything organized. So stabilization. I did not mean for this to go so long, but I guess this is, I wanted to do Sirius B2 right after this, but schedule will not allow it. Anyway, for this stable, now the Emperor energy is strong and right side up or healing. For the men that have been, for the men of Sirius B, they have been up the down staircase. So we might want to say, look who they are, what kind of person they are, and you don't even know the level of trauma that they have sustained in this lifetime and the previous lifetimes that they brought over. Strong traumas and or blessings we bring from the other lifetimes. I promise you this. My daughter was in a stampede in her previous lifetime, and she was crushed. When she was born, her throat was not formulated yet. Technically, it was crushed when she had died. She had to go into NICU immediately. It was frightening. And years later, I can still see the trauma of that crash. I know a lot of her different lifetimes, and Biggie is the one who put me onto it. Akashic Records. He put me on. So when people say, "Oh, what about Biggie? This, that, and the third," I'm gonna use Biggie as an example because whether you're Sirius B or not, if you have brought over such trauma, the level of healing that needs to take place. So for Big to be taken off the planet in his youth and to be placed in the VIP of the heavens in Zion, it was, thank God, you know, but the pain and the rage is understandable. And then eventually the healing. And then when the healing is good enough, then we find out, yo, I didn't realize this was Zion, and I didn't realize, not to that degree, that we're in the book of Revelations and now we're about to descend down to the planet. Biggie wanted to come back. He missed Earth. But by the time Zion had just expanded, because so many people have went up, so many different species have gone into Zion and brought their glory, aka their karma, Zion went from a frequency to a multi-universe. And it's exciting, it's amazing, it's fantastic, it's fabulous. It's freaking fabulous over there. It's amazing. So now he's like, well, I gotta come back. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, we need your help. Come on, Chris. We need your help. Help us. Ah. So, yeah. So they're here to bring stability. The return. Wow. Awesome. Right? And then what comes with that is the future. Plan for the future while living in the present. That's important. Really enjoy the present, y'all. Really enjoy. That's a heavy lesson that's being placed on us now. Isn't it not? Really sop up and enjoy and savor what you have right now. That's the best weaponry in the spiritual warfare for right now. Possibly always. Try your best to push back on anxiety that doesn't belong to you or you've been trained to have. Like, get rid of it and be like, whew, there's that deep breathing. Get out all that stale air out of the, and then whew, the best you can. The best you can. So plan for the future while living in the present. You are always supported by spirit. Your psychic abilities can bring you prosperity. Oh, love it. And then short term, this comes up. So for stability, sometimes short term, you might have like short term, concurrent short term projects, perhaps, jobs, interim positions. It said this position is temporary, so don't be too attached to it. No worries, you will find something that's even more fulfilling and prosperous. So that might be because more entrepreneurship, but you had to go through a lot of different jobs. You had to be the jack of all trades to become the master. From fool to master. And then there's the oh yeah element. What's up, oh yeah? Hello. I love me some oh yeah. I love me some oh yeah. My mom and her, they roll deep. When it's time to fight, and my mom don't play about me. Okay. Her and oh yeah. My mom and oh yeah. My mom is called Ether the Peacemonger when she's in her mode. She's very very powerful entity on the other side. Now a lot of folks, everybody who went over to the other side, Patrick Swayze even, like, because you might be like, Patrick Swayze even, what do you mean? No, I'm used to this, but I'm sharing something that's new. There's other mediums that will know what I'm talking about. Patrick Swayze, that movie Ghost, remember those elementals, those black smoky elementals that will take somebody to hell? Patrick Swayze has that energy. He rules that now. That's his boon. He's received the boon. Even his position seated at the round table, the Ark of the Covenant, is profound. We'll get into the schematics, the blueprints of the Ark of the Covenant so you can understand, what's going on. But so he works sometimes with my mom in tandem because she deals with the black smoke of the Holy Ghost. So we call her Ether the Peacemonger. She was a Libra when she was on this side. She's part of the the Galactic Federation. And she's always been meek and peaceful. You know what I'm saying? That was her choice. as a Libra. That was her choice. She worked for the judicial system. I just saw P. Diddy. My mom was looking at Diddy like, I can eat you with like a snack right now and then vomit you out because you're disgusting. But I could do that. A disgusting snack. Sean Combs is. And when she starts moving that black smoke around, that smoke I'm talking about is strong, y'all. Remember when the Twin Towers was about to crumble? Before that, you saw that black ether. Yeah, we're going to get into that eventually. The ether that was produced out of 9/11 incident. What was produced out of 9/11? What was produced out of Katrina? What was produced out of COVID? That Pythagoras triangle? Whoosh, child. But I can speak about it. I can talk about it because I'm protected about it. So when Ether the peacemonger gets the peacemongering, it's on like popcorn. This war is no joke. And I don't think our antagonists really understood that. Waging war with us wasn't gonna fare well. This is the longest hustle on the planet. The biggest, the longest, most significant hustle. The long game. And Oya is very protected. The protection around Sirius B1 and how protective they are towards others. Because everybody knows who knows Oya. If Oya got to enter that lifestyle and tear that ass up, she will. Disrespect if you want. Disrespect. But this is showing me very powerful, parental, strong energies of Sirius B1. And then the need to be gentle and quiet. Both is there. I'm hearing both. And then the card that comes with that is in the flow. Now, the medicine of the totem of the, what do you call it? Not starfish. I'm hearing starfish because regeneration, which is great. But this is jellyfish, very, very volatile. Totem to see, especially in your dream state or in meditative states where, entities want to, invade, but especially in a dream state. And Oya is just like, I wish, and Oya, her place on the at the table, at the round table. Ooh, spiritual burp. She's like point for all the goddesses. Like everybody is sovereign and do what they're supposed to do, but everybody wants to work in tandem very harmoniously in the Ark of the Covenant. So they go over to the Oya headquarters and work it all out. The wrath of the goddess gang. Whoa, when I see that wrath of the goddess gang. Woo! It's on like popcorn. Okay, it's on. So there's a protective energy around the sleep state of Sirius B1 or the need to protect one's sleep state. And it says in the flow, but this is also a career and life card. So just let's check that out. In the flow, the universe is sending you help. Tap into your inner power and go deeper to create the purposeful life you really want to have. Go deeper. Interesting. Again, when there's a silent retreat, going into the deep depths of the ocean is where you find everything you need. But your heart chakra needs to be healthy, y'all. Very important. Your health, your health, your health, your health. Your heart. May you have the replenishment, the joy, the love, all the blessings that may have been blocked, may they be unblocked. May there be supernatural grace to all my Sirius B1s and for those who are tuned in. And thank you for your contribution. Okay, I'm going to end it with that. You're the alchemist. You got this. Star of David's popping. The caste system can't hold you. You just got to balance. Keep things balanced. and know that you are so protected. And as for Biggie, I know Nas, the rapper Nas, likes to use Nostradamus and stuff like that. But let me make it clear, Nas, what's up? Let me make it clear, like he gonna tune in, right? But you never know. I spoke to Nas before. I don't know, Nas, can you remember? You was doing the video with Cool G Rap, and we had to shoot the video out in Long Island in that mansion. That's the same mansion that they use. They rent that mansion out for a lot of productions, or used to at least. And the video Warning with Biggie was filmed there too. So I think that's why that's being brought up. But we were right across from the Soho Grand Hotel. We was right across from there before. There's a new build now, but it was a parking lot. This is how long ago this was, right? It was a parking lot. And we were working with Brian LeVar, the director, really good guy. His mom is in Zion. His mom is kick-ass spiritual warrior. What's up, Brian? Okay, and thank you for putting me on to the production team. And I know you appreciate that, I was a hard worker. I wasn't looking to sashay around and try to act cute to get work or be fresh to get work. I put in hard work to get work. Okay, so we were all rendezvousing in this parking lot with the cube vehicles, the vans, to drive the talent over to Long Island. And I was talking with Nas, and we was talking about where we got our smoke from, Chronic, because Chronic was new to that coast at that time, right? When I moved to LA, there was, Chronic was a plenty, as my grandmother would say. It was a plenty. Okay, especially when I was rolling with the surfer folks. LA was awesome. The surfer folks. Woo! I was not surfing out in that ocean. I was sitting on the beach watching the dolphins and watching folks surf, but I'm not in that water like that. But you could pass the bong over here. That was years ago, y'all. That was in the late 90s. So I know I veered off because we were talking about some smoke and stuff, but with Nas, we were talking about the Chronic and where we were to go get it. I think even Redman or Method Man might have commented on where they get it as well in one of their songs. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It was a nice health food store over by Franklin and Fulton Street in Brooklyn, in Bed-Stuy. It was supposed to be a health food store where you can get a good vegetable patty and thing, but what you really got was a Chronic and a patty. And you walk out of there with the patty, but the Chronic is put somewhere else. That Chronic was nice, y'all. Y'all understand me? That was nice. We was talking about how that was like the mecca of getting Chronic and really quality smoke at the time. And that was really the basic interaction, because after that it was business. It was time to get to work, time to focus. But that was that was interesting. Cross paths with a lot of people for a reason. It ain't for no reason. It's for a reason. But anyway, y'all, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe. Oh, somebody's little doggy is cutting up out in the hallway. Cut up out that goddamn noise. As I channel my grandmother. Anyway, you guys have a great day. And I'm going to get on with mine. I'll see you soon. Stay tuned for Series B2, okay?